We're live.
Okay. Did you notice?
He noticed something.
The judge had no makeup on. That's a first.
Her hair was puffy too. I noticed that.
She changed her hairstyle. It's more of an older, traditional, like 60s style.
Yeah, it's like a 60s thing.
And she has no makeup on. The other thing I noticed is from Steve Murray, from his last opening statements in the last trial, he's toned it way down.
It's like the national. Yeah, I think he understands too that he was pissing the jury off.
Yeah.
So hey, I got some notes. I want to go through these really quick. You want to stay with me?
Sure.
Maybe you can. Were you up there with me? No. Well, yeah, you were up there. Okay, so you can help me out.
Sure.
This is going to be Fran and I. We're going to report. This is in regards to after the government's. So as you know, I came in after the government's opening statements and came in for the defense opening statements. And just a few things to touch on. Because there was so much for Andrea to have to speak to in regards to the government's opening. This will be much shorter, I promise you that. It's pretty clear and pretty simple. Those of you familiar with the case will understand everything behind this, but I want you to see the prior video, by the way, for the important details. So if you haven't seen, if you're just joining me and you didn't see the prior video just posted, I had an accident, so it ended incorrectly. But it just posted a couple seconds ago, right, Bran?
Yeah.
All right, so you can go to that post. That is the valuable, most valuable information for today so far. Of course, after lunch we have to endure more. So first one that was up was Ricky Loveland's opening statements. He said that none of this is evidence, and what he's referring to as not evidence. Evidence will show not a single shot was fired, not a rock was thrown, not a bottle was thrown. No one was hurt. No one was even arrested for any criminal wrongdoing. I kind of elaborated for any criminal wrongdoing. That was actually my words, not his. My bad.
Hey,
and
it makes the point.
That's what you get for being an unprofessional citizen journalist. You get to say things. Okay, I'm just teasing. And all went home. All went home. All went home. He's talking about both sides. Everybody la-di-da-di went home.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then early the night before, he said, we're going to show you evidence that the decision, now he didn't elaborate what it meant, but we understood it to be that the BLM had made a decision, or they were told, the sheriff, they were told to leave. And it was actually the night before. So before Rick Loveland, Steve Stewart, Eric Parker, any of those gentlemen, even in the prior trial, those that were convicted, Todd Engel and Greg Burleson, anybody that was there and traveled. It pertains. This evidence, unfortunately, pertains to all of them that are not here with them. But
it was a moot point. It was over with.
It was over with. They were told to leave, but didn't. But they didn't.
And they
it's
said
not totally a moot point. It's evidence.
And what's even better is they actually said they would leave.
They would leave. They said they would leave, right? So the sheriff, as you guys know, by the time more men and women and children make it to the Bundy Ranch, that's when Cliven and the sheriff were putting out the BLM is ceasing and desisting and leaving. They're leaving, okay? And so people, it didn't get confusing at that stage, at that speech, right? Nobody was confused about that.
The thing was, the way he phrased it and said it, he said it's over with, they're ceasing operations, and then the crowd got really, really super loud, and because that's what we wanted to hear. And then it was more muted where he said we will discuss what's going to happen with the cattle.
Yeah.
Well,
with Cliven alone. With Cliven alone.
Well, see, that was like, okay, you already set us off, and nobody, and even myself, and I'm right there, I didn't even hear that part. None of us heard that part. So when we were going to the standoff area where the cattle were held.
Because, Cliven said, we don't need to talk. I'm going to get my cattle.
Yeah,
we're going to get my cattle.
Exactly.
We don't need to talk. It's over. They're ceasing. We're getting my cattle.
We were all under the distinct impression, go down there and you're going to see the cattle come home. And that's why we went down
Kathy
there.
brings up a good point, but, has he been willing to do that? The sheriff needs to testify to the words he said to the press. Because he did say that to the press.
Yes.
That wasn't just on stage, was it?
Here's the problem. This judge will not allow us to bring the witnesses and the evidence in that we have been requesting. And I believe that is the root of that whole issue, why the Sheriff Gillespie has not been in that courtroom and on that stand.
So, then going on further, He said, you're going to see Facebook posts that were used as evidence. And that he was a member, and I think he was referring to the militia. 2000, because he didn't always finish his words, so I had to fill in.
Well, he never differentiated. He did never, not. So in other words, anybody that made a good comment on Facebook, a like comment, you are an indicted co-conspirator.
But I wanted to say, being the defense attorney, being a member of the militia, this is where he paints the truth. The truth about being a militia member. He said he was a member of a citizen group that performs all sorts of civic functions, and he provided some of those examples, like medical, right? What else did he go into?
They're first responders. I think a real good example of that was up there in Oregon, around Burns, when they had those huge snowfalls. Who do you think cleared the snow from around the fire departments? What are they? Those little red things out there. Oh, it's all right, don't worry. It's not the first time. The fire hydrants. It was the PPN and the 3 percenters that actually went out there and cleared that in case there was a fire. Nobody else did it, so that's just another thing.
That's just another thing that militias do, and she doesn't want that discussed in there. So I was glad to see him make that comment in the opening statement, a positive reflection and truthful reflection about what the militia or citizen groups are tasked to do, what their duties and obligations, what they're sworn to do.
And
by the way,
all volunteer too.
All volunteerism. Yeah. All volunteerism. So he also said there's a Facebook post that they're not, after seeing everything, they weren't going there when he was on his way. He was on his way and he left a Facebook post. We're not going there to create violence, but to prevent it.
Yeah.
So you'll see that.
And that goes along with that principle. Remember MAD, mutually assured destruction, where you can't let one nation get so powerful, more powerful than you, because you've got a lot more likelihood that you're going to have a war. So you have a show of force, you equalize it. And now nobody wants to fight. Nobody wants to fight because somebody's going to get hurt.
And then he goes on to say that Rick, he was never in the wash, never even on the bridge. Yet here he is today in court, never in the bridge. He went over. There's going to be video footage, and I've seen this. We've seen this. Yeah. Well, we've been through this trial already. There's going to be video footage of him sauntering over to the Jersey barrier, sits down with a bottle of water, drinks it, makes a phone call to his sister. It lasts about 4 minutes. He goes no closer. That is all you're going to see.
That's it.
That's it. And here he is, sitting incarcerated without bail in prison.
And a possible life sentence for just standing on a bridge with his arms crossed.
Standing on a bridge with his arms.
Every picture I've seen, he's got his arms crossed.
And most of you guys do. You guys are so,
And even that, you know, when you put your long gun upside down, that is an outward sign that I'm not here to cause trouble. And all that time, his long gun is upside down with the barrel pointing at the ground, and his arms are crossed.
He does go into that further. This is also for, you know, Steven and everybody, but those are my very next note about the long gun. No, it's perfect. It's the segue. His long gun was down the entire time. You never see a picture of Mr. Levin with a gun anywhere but his shoulder and then like across and down.
Yeah.
Okay, down, like but like that. It's really low.
Actually, it was on his back pointing down.
Oh, yeah, there was one on his back.
It was on his back pointing down.
That's right.
And that is a very strong indication that I am not here to cause any trouble.
He told the jury that you're going to see, or will be provided and available, 500,000 documents and photos. And that all he did was travel from Montana to Nevada. Not any evidence will be provided or shown to this jury, and he promises this, that shows any intent to communicate with Mr. Bundy prior or even when he gets there on the ground. Well, there was one small conversation. He sees Mr. Bundy, Cliven, and he just says, where do I go? Because, I mean, you guys had already been there for some time and established in places. You know what I'm doing for Camp Liberty, what I'm working on right now?
What's that?
Kind of the same shit you guys did for the Bundy Ranch, where you made places habitable for each other to camp together. Right?
And
that's it. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to jail.
And even that's a misnomer. I was in all those camps, and it wasn't just, I mean, if you asked where to go and you had a long gun, they'd say, well, yeah, because not everybody is super comfortable with around people with long guns. So they say, well, why don't you go to this camp? But I've been in those camps. There was a lot of just what I would call the average everyday protester in those camps. So they're trying to make it, here's what they're trying to do. They're trying to show organization, which signifies conspiracy. And that organization, I'm going to tell you right now, it did not exist.
You guys were winging it.
We were winging
like
it.
Like I'm winging it.
Yes.
I don't even know if I'll get that Camp Liberty stood up or not. I'm just winging it. And it is hot. But I'm not the first one to try and camp in extreme temperatures. These guys were. And they were winging it. They didn't know if it would work or if it was going to be habitable or what. But they made shit happen.
Well, in the famous words of Lieutenant Colonel Roy Potter, this is the most disorganized group of people I've ever seen in my life.
They were. And they were again at the refuge too. I can testify to that.
Yeah.
I will be happy to testify that they were. Stephen Stewart's attorney then began his opening statements. Very short, guys, so here we go. He said it's simple. They were there standing in what they believed in, nothing more and nothing less. Protesting the U.S. government.
Yeah, well, what really spoke loud in my ears is the fact that this judge will not allow those attorneys to bring up First and Second Amendment rights. He talked about they're just doing what they believe in. Before, they would say things like, well, you know, they protested with their firearms, which, of course, the average person understands that's their First and Second rights. She won't even let them say that now. Now what they have to say is they were doing what they believed in, okay?
So in evidence that he goes on to elaborate on what evidence is. Evidence is what comes into this courtroom through witnesses, documents, materials, photos, content that, you know, is tangible evidence, not speculative thought police, commentary, which I see the prosecution constantly doing, not being objected to, or when objected to, she finds it in favor and allows them to proceed most of the time, and acts as if this is lawful evidence when it is not. It is just thought police. It's not even, what do you call it? Circumstantial. It's not even circumstantial.
And you got Steve Myrie up there doing all he can to hypnotize the jury with his monotone voice and making these statements as if they are fact. And he did get called on it. And I think she sustained one. Or did she sustain one of the defense when they first called? Oh, you were you?
No, that was earlier. Not today, but what I witnessed is. Right after break, doing Stephen Stewart's right here. Actually, it's in the notes right there. Right after it says they get to the wash, and that's when there was confusion. Then there was an objection, and without any reason given, she just said sustain.
Oh, this is
nobody even fought it, and nobody gave a reason. That's the one I witnessed.
Yeah, the first one is when he was trying. He kept saying the evidence, and it was objected, and I'm pretty sure she sustained it. I didn't quite catch it. My hearing's not the best, but I think she actually did sustain that because the prosecution was presenting it as actual evidence.
Right. Yeah. Adam, can I get 1 minute on live with you?
Here.
All right, we're going to give a minute.
Sit here, buddy.
We just finished our notes. So we're going to take a minute here with Adam. How are you doing today, Adam?
It's complicated. Yeah, to answer that question, I'm hot and sweaty out here in Vegas. I'm hot under the collar from what I saw this morning. And I'm as often we are in events like this, torn between, you know, the anger and the frustration and just, you know, all the negativity that they talk about. To hear the government attorney say these men took the law into their own hands and used coercion to get what they want, like that's what government is, you know,
They're projecting their own crimes onto us, we the people.
And at the same time, I'm elated to feel like, you know, so welcomed into this family, because I've been a part of this from a distance. I was one of the first major independent media outlets to share the story when it was going down and broadcast Pete Santilli live from Bunkerville, and you know, I almost wish I could have been more involved, and you know, it's never too late to stand up, and oftentimes this is one of those cases where people don't realize that it's still going on, that this is Act 2, this is the government's revenge for the successful standing down that happened at Bunkerville, and you know, it's never too late to come in and be a part of something.
It's
better
not.
late than never.
We have
Everybody
so
here is-
much still happening.
No one here.
We need
yeah.
that. We need that. The loved ones need also the love and support. The P3 needs your love and support. But when I'm here on the ground, and what you're seeing too, is you're seeing women, family members, and wives and children.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the strength and conduct and character of each of these individual women, and it's amazing, is it not?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No,
It's inspiring. It's amazing. It'll inspire you to be able to stand not just with them, but even for your own rights and learn what freedom really means.
Yeah, and to hear that the Political Prison Project, the Idaho Political Prison Project, came out of this, or was inspired, during this episode, that there are now institutions forming, connections forming, relationships developing. This is a
Very
family
strong
now
band.
of people. And I hear it referred to a lot as the patriot community, and of course for a lot of my fans who think that patriotism is collectivism or nationalism, that's not what they're talking about here. And what we're really seeing with this case is a huge bringing together of people. We even have socialists here. The Socialist Workers Party is here saying, no, an injury to one is an injury to all. This is an injustice. Even they see it. So
volunteerism is here.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful how this is bringing people together. So whatever you can do, send letters, share this video, share any of the other videos or positive stories about this. It makes a huge difference, and especially that people know about jury nullification. It's not just about this trial, but the next one. Win, lose, or draw on this. And I got to say, I'm very optimistic from what I saw this morning. It's a shame that everybody's been in jail so long. You've already lost if you want to think about it in that sense. They've already done 17 months in jail. Yeah.
Destroying families, taking men from their children and wives.
Yeah.
Absolutely eviscerating families over what? Protesting.
Yeah.
Peacefully protesting. You know who they protested? It wasn't just anything they were protesting, though. It was the federal government. The actual racketeers, the actual thugs and aggressors. What are we going to do as people to stand not just by them, but to make positive impact and positive change? Well, we're doing what we can here on the ground to get the information out, the truth out, so that you're aware of these things and not blind anymore. No excuses, no more excuses. This is our country, our land, together. We the people with many diverse backgrounds, yes, we need that. That's what we are, a melting pot. So let's continue on in those traditions, those valuable traditions. Let's carry on and fight for what has already been ours for centuries, available to us, and make that positive impact peacefully now while we still can, before the aggressors kill more people like they did with Lavoy Finicum. He is not the first, and I'm afraid he won't be the last if it continues down this path.
It's like
I sound crazy.
No. It's like the Niemöller poem, and this goes back to World War II when he said first they came for the Social Democrats, then they came for the communists, whoever, and when they came for me, there was no one left to stand up. Well, now we are turning the tide. This is a totally different dynamic. We are standing together, and if you're going to be next, or one of your family members is going to be next,
We'll be there for you.
Yeah,
we won't ignore it.
Absolutely.
We're awake. We're too awake. We can't ignore it. I can't put my head back in the sand, can you?
No. Well, you wake up like this, you don't go back to sleep.
You don't go back to sleep. It'd be nice, though. I did have a swim last night, though. That was... All right, guys. I'm going to let Adam Kokesh go. Thank you so much for saying hi to them.
Oh, of course. Thanks for the opportunity.
No, thank you very much for your opportunity, too. Thank you for being here for us. Very good. I'm going to wrap this up. Oh, Kenny's here, though. Would Kenny like to say hi or no?
I'll say hi.
Just say hi really quick. Orange Hat Man. How can we not bring my man, the Orange Hat Man, Kenny, on board?
I came all the way down here from Michigan to see this kangaroo court. Boy, I seen it in action today. The fence, the fence gets nothing. Prosecutors can say anything they want. Whatever they want to show is all right. And the prosecutor was up there today just lying like crazy. Everything he said was a lie about how it happened. He has no clue. He's looking at what somebody's told him to happen. It didn't happen that way. I was there.
For coming again. He always is around. He's always there for us, guys. He's never stopped.
I may be old, but I'll still be a piece of sand in the car.
Yeah, you go.
And he can't go to sleep either.
That really brings you up.
No matter how old he gets. Thank you so much, Kenny. We love you. All right, guys, I'm going to say goodbye to you right now. I really appreciate you getting back on here. Yeah, it is a Soviet-style court, and in the most negative connotations. Tell Kenny hello from Vicksburg, Michigan. That's from Mark Hayward. Hi, Orange Hat Man from North Idaho. Oh, look at that. You got fans over here. Yeah, you always have. They know you. Back in the refuge days, I mean, I like expounded on you. I'd be like, there's Orange Hat Man. I didn't even call you Kenny, I don't think. I don't think I even called him by his first name. But anywho, guys. Yep, see? I love you guys. We're going to talk to you guys later. I'm going to get a little food and some water. Bye.